What's going on, guys? Dark Phoenix here. Before I get into this video, I'm going to say I have not forgot to upload. I'm going to postpone the uploads until Monday, meaning there's going to be a double upload of Platinum and Donkey Kong Country. But for this video, I have to say this now. I just watched probably the second to last episode of the Sword Art Online Alicization War of the Underworld. Wow, that was a big climax, and with one more episode before, I guess, the first season of War of the Underworld gets underway, this episode was intense, and I will say intense to the max. So we start off this episode with Kirito talking to the guy who created Sword Art Online, his wife, saying that Alice had disappeared. Wow. Okay. Then he starts going to go look. Kirito was going to go look for her. He receives a package from Wrath. Wow. And it turned out to be Alice. Now, Alice shows up in this episode a lot. There comes to a point where she apologizes, saying, "Hey, I had to show up. I'm sorry." But they started talking about what she's meant to do in the real world, because she comes from the Underworld, which is a virtual world. They made her into an actual AI, artificial intelligence, in the real world. So she comes down, they start talking. Kirito talks to the lady, says it's okay for her to stay over there, and they have an epic clash with bamboo swords. Now, if you have not seen what a bamboo training sword is, it's pretty much a wooden stick made out of bamboo, and they have a fierce battle. This battle lasts about a couple minutes, but still, it was an epic clash between the black swordman and the swordsman from her time. Now, this ain't the meat of the episode. The meat of the episode was Alice receives a IP address to a new world, and that's where the meat of this episode comes from. Asuna, Kirito, and Alice enter this world after talking to, I forget her name, but they talk and they enter this whole entire new space, and it is crazy. Now they have like airplanes or space pilot things, and two of the swordsmen that showed up from Kirito's days in the academy are piloting these things against this big ass monster. But that's not the entirety of why I want to say anything about this episode. It was very, very intense. Alice is like, what in the world is this? Of course, the two pilots don't realize who Asuna and Kirito are until the end of this episode, and I'm flabbergasted, going, wow. I mean, the acceleration after Kirito and Asuna left was about 200 years. So my thoughts are, time advancement happened. They invented spacecrafts in this time that they weren't there, and now it's an entirely new world. A new world that happens to be something of a different time zone. Well, it's not a time zone difference. 200 years had already passed in the real world after Alice came to the actual physical Tokyo, and that not long after Kirito and Asuna wake up from their, I call comatose, because they weren't allowed to log out until the people who were trying to get them out got them out. So I don't know the time zone of how long they were out and about, but according to this episode and how this episode played out, it's been a couple months, or at least a month, after they exited, and that's where the 200 years in the Underworld happened to show up, and the advancement of technology has grown exponentially, and it was crazy. Alice was wide-eyed going, what the actual fuck is this? And with one episode left, I'm hoping, well, of season 1 anyways, there's going to be another season, plus there's going to be a spin-off called Sword Art Online Progressive, from what the article was mentioning, that a lot of the events that happened between some of the 1.5 years, I guess we're going to get a little bit of more insight of Kirito and Asuna's adventures. We're going to see them interact a little bit more. Hopefully we get to see some of the characters that happen to be in that series, like Klein, what happened to him after him and Kirito exited, well, went separate ways. What happened to Asuna, Silica, Elizabeth, and a little bit more insight, but that's a whole new video for another time. My overall thoughts on this episode are as followed. What happened in between of how many months, if it's a month? They really do not say how long it's been since Kirito and Asuna returned to the real world, and I wish they would kind of explain instead of just dropping them into another time skip. Sword Art Online is crazy enough to do something like that, and in my mind, it's been one heck of a ride. They're not even done with Sword Art Online. I don't know if this is the first season of War of the Underworld or a second. There's going to be a second season. I'm going to do my research. But overall, this was a really good episode. I give this an 8 out of 10. It was kind of rushed, and it really makes it feel that this is not the end. This isn't the end, considering there's a lot more at stake and a lot more content for SAO, Sword Art Online. Now, this episode turned really intense, really turned this series on its head. What's going to happen? I know there's going to be another season because they cannot leave it on a cliffhanger like this. Hopefully, episode 24 clears the air about a lot of things, because I know for a fact that I believe this is season 1 of War in the Underworld, according to the article, but there's going to be a separate series of Sword Art Online Progressive, so we'll see. But overall, this episode was really amazing. I enjoyed the fight scene between Alice and Kirito, the interactions between Kirito and Alice. Alice is like a jealous girl because her initial reaction of Kirito was like, "Hey, we're gonna bring Asuna with us." She's like, "Okay." You know, it's gonna be a cat fight. I mean, it's no secret that Asuna and Kirito are dating. It's throughout the first season, I'm guessing, and whenever Asuna first showed up to the Underworld, there was there has been tension between Alice and Asuna. If you have not seen any of SAO, you really need to look into it because it is amazing. I cannot wait to see what season 2 brings. And I'm going to end it off here because why not? I hope you guys enjoyed. I want your thoughts. If you've seen SAO and you've caught up with the series, or if you've watched the series, let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, have an awesome one.